is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video today, and in this one we're sort of going to be trying to iron out my anti-lag no lift shift issues. So that's essentially when you're shifting on a flat foot, like 100% on throttle. Now I installed my JB4 module a little while ago and it worked. Well, first of all, it took me weeks to work it out, like why it wasn't working properly. Eventually I ironed out all the issues, but still the no lift shift module which I added onto it just wasn't working the way that it should have been. Essentially the behavior that it should be doing is cutting ignition on when you're shifting through a flat foot, but it doesn't really do that. All it does is when I have a flat foot, it just drops the revs, which is not the behavior that it should be doing. So today essentially we're going to be doing two things. We're going to be working out the no lift shift issue on the Beamer and possibly inspecting the Pajero and the pulleys because it's making a bit of a noise that I want to get sort of ironed out. So I might change the water pump thermostat and investigate the pulleys as well at the same time, just to make sure that they are alright. And if we need to change a bearing, then we change a bearing. Hopefully it's not the alternator, it's a bit more of an expensive job, but not too difficult regardless. Essentially we're going to be first working on the no lift shift issue. So I've got my laptop with me. Gonna pop the bonnet, get to the JB4 module so we can plug it in, and then just scan it with the JB4 program on the laptop. Make sure that the firmware is up to date and all the settings are configured correctly for no lift shift. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start to do that now. Alright, so essentially I've got the JB4 system program up on the laptop. So what I want to be checking is, number one is the firmware version of the JB4 to make sure that it's up to date. So I'm going to check that now, and I also want to make sure that all of the settings for the no lift shift are correct. So I'm going to just go ahead and go to Google first and make sure that it's all correct. Alright, so I've uploaded a new firmware, just like the beta version of the JB4 latest firmware. And we're going to go take it for a drive, see if it behaves any different. We'll have to drive a little bit for it to warm up, but we'll see if it changes the behavior of it and see if I need to upload a different back-end flash for it. So we'll start it up, just let it sort of sit for a bit and take it for a drive and see how it behaves. You guys want to hear the anti-lag? Oops! Holy shit, dude. Ready? So I'm now here in the workshop again to get started on fixing the pulley problem with the Pajero. So I'm not exactly too sure what it is. It might just be a tensioner pulley, or it might be the alternator or the water pump. I don't know, so I'd rather just fix that. Just start pulling things apart and making sure that they're all lubricated correctly or they're not worn out. So first thing I've got to do is take off this radiator shroud. Then I can take off the fan. then I can start loosening up the belts and just spinning them to see what they are like. So we've got to get the fan off to get access to the pulleys. So we've got the main pulley there, which I believe that one will be the water pump, and we've got the alternator right there, and on the other side we've got the aircon pump. That's sort of our main task for today. I'm going to start pulling that apart and then we can have a look. Alright, so a bit of a progress update. I've taken the main pulley off, as you saw in the last video, and one of the belts. I was going to take off the alternator belt and the water pump belt, but I started it up. There's no noise. So I'm going to essentially put them all back in, tighten them a bit more because they were fairly loose when I took them off. I'm not loose, but they had a bit of play in them. So I'm going to tighten them, put this all back on. At least I've inspected these. It makes no noises, so put them all back on, tighten them a bit more, and just see how that goes. And we'll put the fan back on and just hope for the best. So at this stage, we'll pretty much fix the issue essentially by taking this off. So yeah, we'll put them back on and see how it goes. Hopefully it's quiet. So as it turns out, I think my belts were a little bit loose. I've tightened them all back up and quiet as. So in the process, I've cut my hands up pretty well. It means it was successful. Anyways, time to put the fan back in. So we'll put the fan back in and then that's it, pretty much. Fan goes just there. It's just sitting over there for now. And that's the last thing I need to do for the day. Might give Repco a call to see if I can get my sway links, because if you look down here, so my sway links broke when I was forward driving and I went up a really hectic rut, and I've left them off since because they're broken. So I might go to Repco and pick up some more if they have any in stock and put them back on, because that's a pretty quick job. So yeah, pretty boring video for today. Hopefully the next video will be a bit more interesting. Who knows? That's pretty much it for the video today. It wasn't really much of a long one. Not much content, to be honest, but I thought I'd make at least something. Probably the more interesting part about it was the N54 stuff, which hopefully we'll get more onto soon. But for now, hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you next time.